Hey guys, I'm Scott from muscularstrength.com, and if you're anything like me, you're always looking for a new technique to incorporate into your training to try to gain that extra edge. Even if it's just the slightest increase in muscle mass, barely noticeable to anyone but yourself, when you're a natural athlete, every centimeter of muscle gain counts. Babe!
What?
My bicep grew a centimeter!
Nobody cares.
So by now, a lot of you have probably heard about the technique called pre-exhaustion. And if you haven't, let me explain what it is. Pre-exhaustion training is an advanced technique for hypertrophy training that involves training a specific muscle group with a single joint movement prior to engaging it yet again with a multi-joint movement. A good example of this would be, say when trying to increase the amount of quad focus on your squats, you would first start off by performing a set of leg extensions with light weight until failure, and then after a short rest of about 1 minute, you would start your working sets of barbell squats. The idea being that because your quads are now pre-exhausted, they have to work harder to move the same working weight, making your reps more effective at targeting your quads for muscle growth. Well, that's at least the claims behind pre-exhaustion training. But the thought process behind it seems to make a lot of sense, right? I mean, I guarantee if you tried this right now, your quads would light up like a Christmas tree during your first set of barbell squats. But does feeling your quads more mean that they're growing? I know that even for a lot of my own clients, that their performance in a compound movement may be limited by other muscle groups other than the ones that we're trying to target. Another great example of this would be chest. I get DMs all the time from you guys saying things like, how come my arms give out before my chest does? Or, why do I always feel my shoulders and triceps instead of my chest when benching? Now, form issues aside, okay, the working theory here is that your triceps and delts are most likely a little too eager to help out during the bench press and thus are performing most of the work during your reps. Or more accurately, they're stealing all the work from your chest. So maybe if we can fatigue your chest muscles prior to benching with an isolation exercise such as the dumbbell or cable fly, then theoretically, your now pre-exhausted chest muscles should be guaranteed to be the limiter during the bench press, allowing us to now achieve maximum stimulation of the chest for more muscle growth. Well, let's take a look at this study from massmember.com. For the study, they took 31 fit and well-trained men between the ages of 18 and 40, which is actually a really good sample size, and divided them into two groups. One group trained utilizing pre-exhaustion technique, and the other trained without it. We'll call these the traditional group and the pre-exhaustion group. It should also be noted that in order to participate in the study, each of the men needed a minimum of 1 year of uninterrupted experience with resistance training, including the exercises of knee extension and 45-degree leg press, but not in the last 6 months prior to the study. This is great because it means that basically everybody was detrained for these two movements and was starting fresh on the same page at the start of the study. So the way the experiment worked was that the traditional group, or the group not utilizing the pre-exhaustion method, performed 3 sets of leg press to failure with 75% of their 1 rep max. They then rested 1 minute between sets, and they trained twice a week for 9 weeks. Now, the pre-exhaustion group did the exact same thing, except they performed 1 set of knee extensions to failure with 20% of their 1 rep max immediately before their first set of leg press. So to be clear, they had 0 rest between their leg extensions and the first set of the leg press. Now, what did the research find? Well, disappointingly, but not entirely unexpected, there were no significant differences between training groups as far as strength or hypertrophy is concerned after the 9 weeks. In fact, the only notable difference was that the pre-exhaustion group got somewhat stronger in the leg extension, which, to be honest, makes sense since both groups were detrained in leg extensions and the leg press for 6 months prior to completing the study. So then that begs the question, is pre-exhaustion training worthless? Well, it's a good question, and I'd like to offer my own opinion here based on my own experience working with my clients. Now, I don't think that anything you do in the gym is worthless. Well, maybe not anything, if you get what I mean. As long as the theory has some base in science, depending on the context and your programming, it could help you with your goals. For example, in this study, it was shown that tricep thickness did increase over a period of 12 weeks when a single joint exercise was performed before a multi-joint exercise. So what's up with the conflicting data? Well, to be 100% certain, as the author of the study, Greg Nuckols, says, we need to dig a bit more into the topic. Nuckols goes on to say that the utilization of pre-exhaustion depends on the compound movements you base your training around and may boil down to one question. Are your compound exercises doing a good job of training the muscles you care about the most? For example, let's say you want to grow your triceps, right? And you start pressing every day with bench press, with direct triceps training occurring later in the workout. Bench press with a moderate to wide grip is likely suboptimal for triceps growth since triceps aren't trained through a full range of motion. If we assume that exercises performed earlier in a workout are more effective for hypertrophy and strength, you may be leaving some triceps growth on the table since you're doing a suboptimal exercise for triceps when you're fresh, and relegating triceps work to a point in your workout when you're already more fatigued. Thus, moving your triceps work before your bench press training may be more effective. So it seems like this pre-exhaustion technique really boils down to specific exercises, as not all exercises are created equal in terms of how much activation we receive from both the primary and secondary movers. But based on all the data, for the most part, at best, you'll still be getting about the same gains compared to conventional training in terms of muscle growth. And if you do have a specific lagging area or a specific muscle group you want to focus on growing, just don't save it until the end of your workout when you're already exhausted. But I do want to leave you with one more thing to ponder, guys. We've talked a lot about mind-muscle connection here and how a lot of times if you're not seeing growth or feeling the pump when training, it could be due to having poor mind-muscle connection. So let's revisit the barbell chest press for a moment so I can explain. Maybe for someone who's a bit more advanced with their training, performing a set until failure of chest flies doesn't really offer any sort of benefit. In fact, it might actually do more harm than good because your first set of your barbell bench press may be affected in that you'll either get less reps than normal or you'll have to lower your working weight or both. But if you're new to training and are still having a hard time activating your chest during your reps because your arms and shoulders take over during the movement, a quick set of chest flies could be the key to helping you improve your mind-muscle connection. But if you were to utilize this as a technique for mind-muscle connection improvement, instead of performing a set until failure and then immediately rushing to the bench press, I would perform 1 to 2 sets of 15 to 20 reps with really light weight, just focusing on a deep stretch and a hard flex on every rep. And then rest a good 60 to 90 seconds before starting your barbell bench press. At the end of the day, guys, it's definitely okay to experiment with new training techniques, but always remember that the basics work. That's why they have been around for so long. And if you need a new workout program to get you back on track, you can download my program, Guaranteed Gains, for free by clicking the link in my pinned comment below. But if you're ready for something a bit more advanced, then maybe it's time you tried my Full Body Evolution program. As you all know, I've been training full body 4 to 5 days a week for the last 2 months now, and the results have been speaking for themselves. And I do want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you for the kind words and support on my recent community posts. Even those of you accusing me of juicing, which is pretty laughable, but still definitely taken as a compliment. It's not a secret technique, guys, and I'm not claiming to have found the holy grail to building muscle. Full body training is literally just placing more overall volume into your weekly training, and it works. And those of you who have already started my program are seeing results. And if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more content like this, you can let me know by tapping that like button and commenting below. And also, be sure to subscribe and turn on video notifications so you never miss a new video upload. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys. Hey guys, if you want to get a more in-depth look on how I'm utilizing full body training and nuclei overload with my current workouts, check out this video link over here. And for those of you who want to try Guaranteed Gains or my Full Body Evolution program, you can access both of them by downloading my app by clicking the link below. I'll see you there.